Coming up next, when area heavyweights face off, you know the game is moving to NBC. Tonight, Richmond Hill, 2-2 after making the leap to the largest classification in Georgia, collides with one of Savannah's best, high-powered New Hampstead. It's the Phoenix versus the Wildcats, and it's coming your way now. Farah and Farah, here for you, here for good, is proud to present the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is homecoming at New Hampstead and Richmond Hill. The Wildcats welcome their homecoming princes and kings to the field before the game, and now they're about to welcome their players for a quality non-conference matchup. Andrew Goldstein here alongside Andrew Davis. Andrew, New Hampstead coming in about as good as you possibly could. This segment of the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week is brought to you by Farah and Farah. Here for you, here for good. Welcome back to Richmond Hill, where we now go down to the field for the coin toss presented by Farah and Farah.
All right, go ahead, shake hands, introduce yourselves, gentlemen. All right, guys, remember, y'all the leaders. We got a rule problem. Just say, Mr. Referee, I'm a captain, and there was holding, and you only marked off 5. We can talk about that, all right? So if you got a rule problem, just let me know I'm a captain. If we got any players getting out of control, I just want you to, if you grab, say, Mr. Referee, I got it, I'll take care of it, and we're fine. But if you don't take care of it, then I gotta take care of it. All right, we're gonna do the coin toss. I'm gonna have someone who's gonna flip the coin, but I'm gonna let everybody look at the coin. All right, this is heads. It's tails. You calling the toss? Yes, sir. What are you gonna call? Tails. All right, you got tails, Jim. He's gonna call tails. It's tails, guys. All right, so you want to toss, you got some choice. You want the ball? What goal y'all want to defend first? All right, turn your backs here, go. Turn your back there, White. All right, White won the toss. White has elected to receive the ball. All right, guys, go ahead, shake hands, and let Coach know we're going to be ready in a minute. Thank you, sir.
Well, you've just listened to the coin toss presented by Farah and Farah. Now, as we get ready to introduce both teams, one of the things I'm really looking for in this game is the Richmond Hill pass rush.
Should be very interesting. We're going to get to see it right off the top. Richmond Hill kicking off on this one to New Hampstead.
Kicking off for Richmond Hill is Blake Williams. And here we go, New Hampstead and Richmond Hill. And this one is going to be a touchback. If New Hampstead picks up a first down here, Richmond Hill will have to start burning them on the next set of downs. The give here is to number 1, Zion Griffin, and he has the first down.
Huge, and now you're inside the 20, down to about the 14-yard line. 3:23 left after that. Clock will run. Be very interesting. I would assume you let first down go, probably call the timeout after that if you're Matt Lizotte.
Well, New Hampstead takes the clock all the way down. Play clock's now at 20, so 2:53 will be the timestamp of this first play if they go all the way down. So the best case scenario for Richmond Hill is probably getting the ball back with something like 1 minute 40 seconds remaining, assuming no turnover, which we certainly can't assume given the way this game has gone. Sealy in the pocket, firing, touchdown, New Hampstead. Wow.
Come on, man.
That's Malachi Lonan. And instead of running the clock down, what if Paulie Sealy and New Hampstead could just stick the dagger in him with no delay?
How about your confidence in your quarterback in that case? You know you could run the clock down and hopefully kick something or at least hold them way deep. No, Paulie Sealy with the cannon. And a great play by Hampton on the outside. I'm sorry, London on the outside for the touchdown. But what a throw, what a catch, and what a great called drive by the offense coordinator.
And what great protection from the offensive line. The center, Alex Coles, the right guard, Jace Huerta, giving Sealy all the time he needed. No loose hands up in the passing lane, had plenty of time to step into that throw. Kick is up, and it is good. So now it's 20-10 New Hampstead. 2 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the game. Comeback certainly not impossible, but we are getting into low probability territory.
Paulie Sealy in the second half has not missed a pass.
Unbelievable.
I believe if I'm right, I think I'm right on this one. He's 10 for 10 in the second half. 10 for 10 in the second half when his team needed it most. So you talk about riding your star player, and you wonder why he's getting offers and why Wofford wants him. It's this drive right here, 6 for 14 in the first half. He's 10 for 10 in the second half and looks like he's going to lead his team to a victory.
So that's 16 for 24 on the game, and I'm just trying to mentally go back through his second half throws. Only one of them was really into tight coverage at all. The rest of them, screens, rollouts, open wide receivers, guys in the flat. It's been a very well-schemed game from Kyle Hockman and his coaching staff.
And especially that last play, everybody in the building, including us, thought that was going to be a run. The defense thought it was going to be a run. The offensive line, as you said, held up perfectly, and they were able to find Malachi London on the inside for the score. Now, if you're Richmond Hill, you haven't been able to throw the ball in the second half since that pick. You're going to have to rely on Ty Goldrick and say, we can go back and do this, drive quickly down the field, and hopefully get at least 3 and try for an onside kick, if not 7 in the onside kick.
Well, you got to look for your big play guy, Rayvon Grant. I go back to when we were doing Game of the Week here against Effingham County last year. He had an 80-yard touchdown where he went up and grabbed it over the cornerback. So it can happen, but Richmond Hill is really going to need a big play, and they're going to need it very soon, as that's a touchback. Ball brought out to the 20-yard line.
Well, and that's the thing now, if you're got to keep moving.
And I think with Williams' kicking struggles today, you need to get pretty close before you attempt a field goal. First down and 10, that's completed. Rayvon Grant, first down. Clock stops once again with 1 minute, 7 seconds remaining.
12 catches already for Rayvon Grant on the day, plus the rushes that he's had on top of it.
Ball on the 20-yard line. Goldrick fires end zone, and it is incomplete to Grant.
Good right route there, almost got it to him on the outside. I think if he had gone a little inside, he had a shot to get it to him. Grant couldn't quite make that catch, though.
Caleb Smith in defense. But that stops the clock, so it's the next best thing to a score.
It's clear Goldrick is much more comfortable throwing to his right side than his left. Even with the trip wide receivers over here, he's only gone left once on this drive.
Second down and 10. Goldrick fires complete. Out of bounds once again is Rayvon Grant. Gain of 16 yards, first down and goal. 13 receptions for Rayvon Grant.
And it's clear that's who he wants to go to, even on the comebacks, to make sure that's the most trusted wide receiver he has, the guy who feels he can break free as well if necessary. Now they've got to push this in. 50 seconds left. It's going to be onside kick time no matter what.
Ball on the 4-yard line. The give is to Zion Gillard, lunging for the end zone. He's down on the 1-yard line.
Tough call there. You've been throwing the ball pretty well. I know that's your big guy, but Matt Lazat's going to call the timeout here. Save the time.
So Richmond Hill has 1 timeout left. New Hampstead has 2. Well, it was 10-6 Richmond Hill at halftime. Then New Hampstead rattled off 14 unanswered points. The interception returned for touchdown by Malachi Lonan in the third quarter. And then the completion from Paulie Sealy to Malachi Lonan to give New Hampstead a 2-score lead. Richmond Hill knocking on the door. Run-heavy formation. They've got Gillard in the backfield. The give is to Gillard, and Gillard did not get it.
And I think Coach Lazat's going to be forced to call that next time out. That's the problem with running the ball this tight. I probably would have tried to throw it one more time. I know I mean, you can't get much closer than that, but now you've used both of the timeouts. You don't have one to set up a field goal, even if you get to the onside kick. And I'm a little bit ahead of myself because we don't know right now, the way the New Hampstead interior defensive line is played, that they're able to get it in.
You know, if it's a one-score game, you understand. If there are a couple more minutes on the clock or you had all 3 timeouts, that opens things up a lot more. It doesn't make the downside of running as onerous, but you have 0 margin for error right now.
But to give him credit, I mean, we know that Gillard is his guy and that he expects him to be able to get into the end zone there, so you understand why he'd call it. But unfortunately, that it's not happened, and give credit to the Phoenix defense for making that happen as well.
Absolutely, and if you're the Phoenix defense, you sell out to stop the run, knowing that a score through the air is pretty much the only way it's going to happen. Now Gillard's in the Wildcat, and he is going to run up the middle, and he's going to reach for the end zone. Touchdown, Richmond Hill, a 1-yard run for Gillard.
Barely, but he got in, so now you kick the extra point, and then it's time for the onside kick. You'd think they work on this every day in practice, or at least once a week in practice. Going to try to get it. You see all the speed guys on the outside. I see Rayvon Grant. I see Caleb Easterling. I see your wide receivers out there. It's pretty clear what they're doing is they're going to get as much speed on the outside. Looks like they're going to kick it to the left.
Well, New Hampstead is putting out what is called the hands team. Receivers, defensive backs, basically the surest hands that you have to try and snuff out this last gasp Richmond Hill attempt at stealing a victory. If New Hampstead wins, they go to 5-0.
Including out there Paulie Seeley, one of your hands team, your quarterback as well.
And there's a timeout called from New Hampstead. So here comes the onside kick from Williams. It's high, and it's loose. It's loose. Richmond Hill seems like they have it. And it looks like they do. Referees are still sorting through it.
No signal yet, but Richmond Hill's pointing themselves.
And they got it. Wow. They're not out of it yet.
All right, 18 seconds. The question is, how big is Williams' leg, and how quickly can you get the ball to an area that he can kick it from?
All right, well, that missed 42-yard field goal had the distance for at least 50. It was pounded into about the middle of the net. As we take another look here on the Savannah and Low Country Honda Dealers replay, 2 different guys went for it for New Hampstead.
Really good onside kick because it had the height to go over top of the first level, which is what you wanted on that one, and made somebody who wasn't quite as ready for that. You need 15 at least yards here, I think.
Well, New Hampstead has the ball. Or excuse me, Richmond Hill has the ball in the New Hampstead 48. I think you're right. I think they need at least 15. Goldrick firing sideline complete. Out of bounds at about the 40-yard line.
Probably have 2 plays left, maybe 3, probably only 2 unless they're quick like that. They got 10 of them right there, or 8 to 9 of them. I want it down to the 30 at least, if not closer, to really have a good shot, I would think.
Now, Richmond Hill has no timeouts left. 13 seconds remaining. If someone gets tackled in bounds, game's pretty much over. Goldrick looking downfield. He's going to fire over the middle and complete to Rayvon Grant.
Now, that would have put him in position.
Oh, no! There's a flag down.
Is it a late hit?
It looks like a late hit in the backfield.
Wow. So that was our guy Lacey, who came back in the game, by the way, after being injured earlier. I believe he's going to be the one ticketed for this flag. Now, there was somebody in front of him. Lacey was coming from the outside, couldn't see because he was on the back end of that replay. So
personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, 15-yard penalty. The play results automatic first down.
So now bring the ball forward. 42-yard field goal here for Blake Williams.
I think Coach Lazat would take 3 points here to go to overtime. He doesn't mind this one as much. You talked about it earlier. That Coach Lazat didn't want to kick the field goal to go to overtime before and went for it on a 4th and 2. He's not going for it this time. He'd love to see overtime and see a 44-yarder go through the uprights.
Well, New Hampstead just burned their last time out. So it's all going to be on the leg of Blake Williams, the brother of Britton Williams. Britton was a Border Bowl honoree in 2020. He's now at Georgia Southern. His brother Blake is 1 of 3 on the day for field goals. Well, if he makes this field goal, I don't care what happens his junior or senior year, he's going to remember this as a highlight of his high school career if it works out.
This is long field goal, but absolutely he has the leg for this.
44 yards to send the game to overtime. Williams is good! He's good!
How about that?
3 seconds left on the clock.
The crowd is explosive on our sidelines here.
And it looks like Blake Williams has just sent this game to overtime.
Absolutely clutch. 44-yard kick for a high school kid is spectacular, especially under that pressure.
Well, after having missed 2 with the weight of a stadium on his shoulders, Blake Williams delivers when his team needs it the most.
Now he's got to calm down long enough to kick this because you don't want something silly to happen where they could fall on it to have a shot for a Hail Mary of some sort.
So you add that field goal onto the onside kick, which was already placed a heck of a lot more precisely than your average high school kicker would. You know, Richmond Hill might have had a little bit of a rough patch on their special teams earlier, but they would not be in this game right now if it were not for Blake Williams.
But also, let's give him ultimate credit, too. After missing 2 field goals that were shorter than that on this day, he could have gone into a hole and not been able to hit that, but instead, he did perfectly. An absolutely clutch kick that's going to take us to overtime.
Squib kick there, and that is it for regulation. New Hampstead 20, Richmond Hill 20. We need overtime to settle this. We're going to go to a break here on the WSAV CW Friday Night Blitz Game of the Week. Ha ha! We are headed to overtime on the Game of the Week, 20-20, after a 44-yard field goal from Blake Williams with less than 10 seconds to go ties it up.
Well, this will be interesting. So we're in alternating possessions from the 25-yard line. Now, where's the emotion factor if you're New Hampstead Phoenix? As they're about to get the coin toss here to decide what happens. So we'll listen to that first.
Rayvon Grant, Paulie Sealy at midfield.
Our guys, my wings explain to the coaches the rules and overtime. We still gonna do a coin toss. Visit team gets to call a coin toss. The winner of the coin toss gets to decide whether they want to be on offense first or defense first. The loser gets to pick which end of the field we're gonna do it on. All right, same coin. It's tails, heads, heads, tails. I'm gonna flip it and catch it. If I drop it, we're gonna do it again. And what you have? Tails. He has tails. He has tails. All right, it's heads. It's head. All right, you can defense first. What end of that end of the field? All right. All right, hold up. Turn your backs here. Turn your backs here. All right. All right, let's go, guys.
All right, New Hampstead is going to start with the football.
So let's talk emotion here, Andrew. You've just come off this huge high if you're Richmond Hill. Now you're going to play defense. You're going to let New Hampstead go ahead and have the ball first. If you're Phoenix, what do you exactly do? And how, as a coaching staff, you're going to have to get your guys up and say, we're still here. We haven't lost this game. We just now have to play and finish it off.
Well, I think that you go to what was working for you. You didn't miss a pass in the second half, so you tell your guys, we know the formula.
Okay,
we
everybody got one timeout, guys. Everybody got
for the entire third quarter and the entire fourth quarter. Go back to what was working.
But what's interesting is part of how he did that was one big drive and then hit one big pass after running the ball multiple times. So they've got a lot of options on the offensive side. New Hampstead's offense is not an issue. Richmond Hill took it right back down on the defense when they needed to the most.
So we're going to start with the ball on the 15-yard line. Whatever New Hampstead does here, Richmond Hill has to tie it or beat it on their possession from the 15-yard line. But each side is guaranteed to touch the ball.
I was thinking 25 from college. It's only 15 in the high school, which makes it even easier or tougher in some ways, too.
Seeley on first down fires complete. And that's going to be a gain of about 4 yards to Nate Pearson.
You know, what's interesting about this is with only the 15, you only get one first down, and then it's goal to go. So it is actually almost more challenging in some ways.
And New Hampstead sticking with what worked for them in the second half. Lots of rollouts, lots of three-step drop and outs. Don't give that ferocious Richmond Hill pass rush a chance to get home.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a draw here for that reason on 2nd and 5.
Seeley now under center. Caleb Smith, the halfback. The give is to Smith, and Smith is wrapped up at the line of scrimmage.
What a quick move and quick play there on the inside.
It looked like Dante Goodner. Let's take another look at the Savannah and Low Country Honda Dealers replay.
Goodner.
Yes, it was Goodner.
Grabbed him and wouldn't let him go. Perfect play. So now we're at 3rd and 5 in a whole different format.
Well, Dante Goodner's been playing football since he was 6 years old. He was born on a military base in Germany. So he's come a long way to be the guy that Richmond Hill needs tonight.
So this is where Seeley has excelled. They're going to put 4 wides out and the tight end on the inside. He's been the go-to guy in some of these situations, but I have a feeling he's going to block him this time.
3rd down and 4. Seeley firing near side, and that's caught. Jalen Hampton, first down, New Hampstead.
At the 2, I believe. What a throw on the run to the opposite side. Usually you want to roll him right. Said he's comfortable rolling left.
Thrown across his body, too. It looked like that was maybe tipped a little bit. And what concentration from Hampton. So first down, goal to go. The give is to Smith. Smith breaking tackles, and he's down to the 1. Gabe Bauman makes the stop.
Smith's done a great job controlling clock in the second half. Now they even get 1 more yard out of this. They do have the fullback in now. This is a much tighter formation.
Well, now time is no object, so you can run it. You can do anything you want. 2nd down and goal. Stack formation. The give is up the middle. And New Hampstead signaling touchdown. We're still waiting for the refs to agree or disagree.
They disagree at this point, I believe, and say he's down at the 1-inch line.
Yeah, they gave it to the linebacker, Owen Manuel.
Yep, he's the fullback linebacker there, and he came up just short according to referees.
3rd down and goal. Manuel in. The give is to Manuel. He tries going over the top.
They haven't signaled yet, have they? They did signal, and they did get him
now
that
that's
time.
a touchdown. So New Hampstead strikes first, 26-20. Take another look at the Savannah and Low Country Honda Dealers replay. Nothing fancy about that. Give it to your big guy, have him go over the top.
Not by much. They'd be thankful it was only a foot, because I think he got about 3 feet, maybe. Now the all-important extra point here.
New Hampstead has missed one of these on the day. This is Jamal Brown. The kick is up, and it is good. So the full 7 points for New Hampstead. Richmond Hill will need a touchdown, an extra point to tie, or a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to win.
Now, interesting to see, what do you do if you're Richmond Hill? You stuck so much with the running game right up until that last drive when you needed to throw a bunch. Ty Goldrick did exactly what he needed to on that drive. He came up, he's 21 of 28 for 193 so far. The majority of those yardage, though, came in that last drive. Do you keep the running game going because your guy Gillard's got 126 yards rushing now? Or do you go back to the Goldrick passing game and throw it to Rayvon Grant, who, oh, by the way, has 13 catches on the day?
I wouldn't mind seeing a Gillard run on first down here. They were getting good yardage with that. That is exactly what we're going to see, and he's going to pick up a couple.
Because remember, you can get that 1 first down, which is very important in this case.
Taking another look in the Savannah and Low Country Honda dealers replay. Very nice job by this new Hampstead front. That's Owen Manuel bringing him down, the guy who just scored that touchdown. It's going to be about 2nd down and 8. The give is to Gillard, and Zion Gillard bursts to about the 8-yard line, setting up 3rd down and 3. We are in 4-down territory for Richmond Hill. So now Richmond Hill can count on having 2 plays if they want to run again.
Well, they're going to have to do something. I mean, obviously, yeah, 6 yards, so they're about 3rd and 3 in that range. They're not going Wildcat. They're going to stay with the wide receivers. Grant is absolutely calling for the ball. They're going to use that 1 timeout that they get for overtime.
So Matt Lazat is going to talk about it with his offensive brain trust.
I can tell you, looking at Rayvon Grant, he is itching to get the ball right now. He's moving his hands. He's trying to tell them, please give it to me. He believes he can make this play that can put him in the end zone.
Well, Rayvon Grant's been playing football ever since he was 4 years old. And you know what? Clutch situations, 1-score games at the flag football level, the middle school football level. If you've been playing since you were that young, you've got experience in those. And even though the crowds may not be like this, it's just as big a deal to you at that age. So Rayvon Grant, certainly used to the spotlight, used to having defenses keying in on him for pretty much his entire life.
Well, this is huge, too. You came all the way back to this point. You used Grant, you used your offense in a great onside kick to make it that way. Now it's going to be the next one. So we'll see exactly what happens here. I would go to Rayvon Grant if I was them. I'd throw a quick out that you've been able to do, or one of those curl plays, and make that happen.
Third down and 4. Zion Gillard in the Wildcat. Gillard touchdown! Zion Gillard right up the gut. Putting Richmond Hill within 1, and now Matt Lazat has a choice to make.
He doesn't like ties. What's he going to do here? He's got his quarterback on the field. He's going to go for 2.
He faced the same choice against Baker County last week. He could have kicked to extend the game. He didn't. He went for it on 4th and goal. Ended up falling short as New Hampstead burns a timeout. Now, 6 days later, same situation. Will we get a different result?
He said specifically, I don't like ties. I wouldn't do it. If I had to do it again, he would, just like he said, go for it on 4th down. What's he going to do this time? Same thing. Here's the question. Gillard's run the ball so well, I think you've got to keep it in his hands. As much as I like Rayvon Grant on the outside, there are too many options and too many issues with that. I think you trust Gillard to get you those 2 yards.
Well, look, this wouldn't even be a tie. They would just go to another overtime. But the more you play, the more your defense gets worn down.
I think this is probably the wise move. You're at home. It's homecoming. You've got all the emotion on your side, and New Hampstead's offense has proven that they are able to move the ball on your defense. I say, why not, Coach Lazat, go for it.
So here comes Richmond Hill for the 2-point conversion.
Grant solo receiver on the outside, everybody else tucked in there. It's Wildcat formation.
Zion Gillard in the Wildcat. Up the middle, Gillard reaching for the end zone, touchdown! It's good! Richmond Hill has won! Richmond Hill has won! 28-27 over New Hampstead.
Are you not entertained?
After being down 20-10, after needing an onside kick, after needing a 44-yard field goal, after watching New Hampstead score first in overtime, Richmond Hill has won 28-27 on the game of the week. We're going to take a break.